howdy. Welcome to whatever this is. And fun fact about me, I've been a FNAF fan for a very, very long time. Without it, I don't think I'd be the artist I am today. While I grew up with the internet, I didn't grow up having the internet. So I actually didn't know anything about the series until the fourth game came out. And I ended up having to backtrack and catch up with whatever the hell MatPat was talking about at the time. Maybe Dream Theory. One thing that I always stayed consistent with though, was that I loved the FNAF human designs. At least the ones that I could find on Google. I think they're also called Jajinkas. Django. Specifically the ones made by Polbear and Lulu 999. Why is that so hard to say? What the hell? Those were the ones that I remember obsessing over, and I drew them repeatedly. Specifically the Polbear ones. Those were definitely my favorite. I wish I could find the first ever notebook I remember treating like a sketchbook, because that's definitely where the start of my obsession with this stupid game. After getting my fill of essentially making fan art for people who weren't even online anymore and would most likely never see it, I thought, hey, I could do this design thing. How cool would that be? While they weren't the worst thing in the world, there was so much room for improvement. The designs I've made have evolved a ton over the years as I've on and off been really into FNAF and then not that into FNAF. For the sake of comparison and not cringing more than I need to today, this is the first ever digital lineup that I made back in like 2020. Again, not the worst thing ever, but I can definitely improve upon it, and that's what I aim to do today. Not today, I drew this days ago and just randomly decided that I would turn it into a video. But for your sake, today, I'm gonna just walk you through my thought process of how I would interpret the FNAF animatronics as humans.
Random disclaimer.
Please note that this is just for fun, because I've been in the fandom for so long. I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it's one of mine, and if you're not into it, feel free to exit stage left. I'm just here to have a good time. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Anyways, who are we starting with? Let's get the title character out of the way.
Czy to Freddy Fazbear? Oh.
I'm sorry. Anyways, seeing that he's the title character, one would assume he's also the lead singer and the leader of the band, which makes sense. So I always imagined him basically being the straight man, you know? He's the face of the company, so he can't let everyone just go goofing off and messing with the flow of the everything. The pizzeria's already falling apart as it is. So he gives off very tired boss energy, but in the sense that he acts more like a leader and just a boss. If you've ever had a minimum wage job, it's like the difference between the store's owner and the general manager. So the other characters have a bit of respect for him, since he doesn't just tell them what to do. Instead, he gives them tasks of what needs to be done in the night, and he also helps do the tasks, as well as, like, I don't know, paying their taxes or something like that. That's probably what his main job is. Paying the taxes. At this point in the timeline, I kind of imagine that Fazbear Entertainment has gotten kind of lazy with these animatronics in terms of like design, so they went back to their roots. It's more business casual than anything super extravagant or with any sort of particular theme. I imagine he's also like the oldest of the group, so I wanted him to look more put together, hence why I put him in like a suit jacket. But I almost feel like the suit jacket may be too put together. They're already doing a lot having them wear a vest, so we could probably just go without the suit jacket. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind on it just yet. When I first started making my own designs, I used to think that I could only go by like the main fur color. It was like, oh, Freddy's brown, so like literally everything he wears has to be brown. Also, his skin is brown, which is kind of dumb, because then it's too much of one color. You gotta break it up. I know that now. I'm big brain boy. So instead of making everything brown, I realized, oh, I could just make some of it a dark I could make it a darker brown, but no, more so I could use the color of his hat and his tie and make parts of his outfit black. They're not black in the drawing, they're more so just a darker, little more desaturated brown. But if I go back and tweak things in these, I'll definitely just make it straight up black. In terms of personality, I imagine since he's one of the last characters to like actually start going after you in the game, he's more chill and laid back, but that doesn't stop him from being a little smug, I guess. That's the expression he's wearing, that's for damn sure. Sort of keeps to himself, not entirely, but he's more focused on getting things done than just messing around all the time, which there's nothing wrong with having a good laugh. Man's got a good laugh on him. He's business first, and then we can lounge and goof off. Anyways, I think that's about it for Freddy. I'm definitely much happier with how he looks now. He's kind of smug. That kind of makes me laugh. And man, who knew recording audio, talk about your drawings, would be this difficult? I didn't. Anyways, here's Freddy Fazbear. Alright, next up is everyone's favorite rabbit that isn't actually purple. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are probably going to be mad at me over the fact that Bonnie isn't purple, but look, I'll talk about it later. So Bonnie has actually that was embarrassing. Bonnie has been one of my favorite designs in all of the lineups I've ever done for him, and I think that still reigns pretty true now. I'm not sure what it is. He's just a cutie patootie. Because I didn't know what Let's Plays were when I was first getting into FNAF, I didn't know that Bonnie was one of the more aggressive animatronics. So I end up interpreting him from like fan art and stuff like that to be more timid and kind of shy or something like that. I was definitely projecting. Very much kind of gave off the energy of the mom friend in the group that tries to keep people out of trouble. But then I found out not only is he the most aggressive animatronic, but he also is the only one to have given Scott Cawthon nightmares. So because I like to keep the designs or the personalities at least a little bit similar to the games, I ended up, his quiet demeanor is kind of like a facade. Not really a facade, just the first impression anyone would get when they meet him. He's not immediately violent, but he's definitely got a temper and can get very easily annoyed, which is hilarious when you consider the fact that I view him and Foxy as like best friends, and I think Foxy is a menace to everyone, but especially Bonnie. It's where Bonnie would be constantly kind of just pushing his buttons, trying to get a reaction out of him because he thinks it's funny, and then when Bonnie does react, he like runs away like that one clip of Stewie Griffin. For his outfit, like I said, it's basically like Freddy's, but instead it's blue. As a purple Bonnie truther for years, when the movie came out, I kind of just accepted defeat, made him blue, because I can't explain why, but in my soul, I couldn't leave him as purple. I know I didn't have to make him blue, and literally no one would care if I didn't make him blue, but I wouldn't be able to sleep if I didn't make him blue. Instead of making him straight up blue, I lean more into an indigo shade, since in the games, as you know, color theory, in the light he tends to look more purple. I'm willing to compromise and have him be blue while also having plausible deniability and say that he's a very, very, very dark shade of purple. This is kind of silly, but since I've been drawing Bonnie, I've always drawn him with this more like ribbon shaped tie, because I thought it would be lame for him and Freddy to have the exact same tie, and now it's like a constant thing throughout a lot of my designs. All of the bunnies have this more ribbon looking tie. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know if I'm gonna look it up. So that's Bonnie, the unfortunately blue bunny. Random fun fact, I kind of headcanon that he's trans. Don't know if that's important to anyone, but I thought I might just throw it in there. Oh, Foxy the Pirate Fox. At the ripe age of 10, I saw the stupid Gmod model that everybody used for SFM animations, and all I saw was hearts. He's the reason why I love pirates so much, and I shan't apologize for it. Speaking of, I feel like Foxy's design is one that I struggled with a lot back in the day, because I just couldn't put my finger on how pirate I wanted his entire design to be. Like, no matter what I did, I didn't feel like it was piratey enough. My second redesign after the initial lineup I did in like 2020, I gave him a little pirate coat and a pirate hat, and I think it helped a bit, but the hat didn't end up sticking. The coat did though. I love the coat. His hair was the biggest thing that I just could not stay consistent with because everything I tried didn't really scream pirate. I could give him short scruffy hair, but I always made it too short. And then when I tried to give him the mullet thing that a lot of other people give him, I was like, this feels way too modern. And then I discovered that I have free will and I don't have to make mine look like everyone else's. So I gave him long hair, but for some reason the long hair also just didn't look right. I put it in a ponytail for a bit and it just was not hitting right. And then while I was looking up pictures of like pirate hairstyles, I was like, what's more piratey than a braid? So I gave him 2 to make up for the fact that he doesn't have a tail. Like I said with Freddy, I used to think that his clothes had to be only a shade of red and very rarely straying from that shade of red. And not to bully myself as a literal child, but I did not know diddly squat about colors at the time, so everything looked so muddy and blended together in the worst way. But now that I know better, I think the only thing I kept red in his design was his shirt and I think his hair. I borrowed the color of the coat from the Freddy and Friends Go on Tour Foxy design because how could I not? It's literally right there. When I did the hair, I know it is red, but I think I leaned into a more gingery shade of red just because foxes are actually kind of ginger, not really red. And I made gold an accent color because he's a pirate. Bro's gotta have that booty.
That be treasure, you know.
As I'm sure you've already noticed, even though I say these are human designs, I still draw them with pretty notable animatronic elements. Foxy especially, since he's all torn up. Bro's just got his dogs out. Put those things away, sir. The reason for that is just because I've been writing my own AU to essentially explain away why they look like people instead of, animals. So it's like, what if they were supposed to be seen as kind of actors? Who are you? They're supposed to be seen as actors who dress up as the characters of Freddy and Bonnie and Chica. So by this point in the timeline, Fazbear Entertainment has gotten pretty lazy with like hiding the fact that they are animatronics. I decided semi-recently that with earlier designs that were in like the 70s, 80s, they would try to hide the like animatronic joints like their necks and their knee and elbow joints by spray painting them, I guess, or having like their outfits, their clothes cover them up so you couldn't see them. But when it comes to this location, it's kind of just there to keep the Fazbear name alive, not really expecting a whole lot of traction to come from it. So here's Foxy. You may have noticed in the speed paint that I was kind of going between having him wear the coat or just having him wear it on his shoulders. I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I'm sure you'll tell me what you think in the comment. Remember when I said Bonnie was always my favorite design? I lied. It's Chica. She's always been my favorite. I feel like she was the design that I was always the most consistent with. And I think it's because I had the best idea of her personality at the time. I think the Chica song by Griffinilla, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that song basically gave me the idea of her being this loud and spunky chick. That doesn't take shit from anybody. Couple that with the fact that I was in the tomboy phase of the I'm not like other girls to trans mask pipeline, and I definitely projected a lot of what I wanted to be onto her. By the time of this FNAF restaurant, they've kind of toned down Chica's outfit in terms of how girly it is. I'm probably biased because I grew up around this time. I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, it had the peak of embracing not being a girly girl, and Fazbear Entertainment kind of paid attention to that and had Chica reflect that idea. Instead of flats or heels, she just got on a pair of sneakers. Okay, I'm sorry. Her entire bottom half is orange to hint at the fact that she's, a chicken. Because birds don't have ears, it's kind of hard for people to immediately know that she's supposed to be a chicken. And I think that's a little nice nod to how in the earlier days of the fandom, people used to think that she was a duck. Her colors were definitely the easiest. She used to have this absolutely abhorrent, super saturated orange in her color palette. I don't What was I doing? I don't know. You don't know. I don't know why I'm asking you. Anyways, instead of a bib, I gave her an apron because she's a foodie. She loves to cook. Oh, have you noticed that I found the other day when I was looking for colors, Chica's on her bib, it's not like just a straight up purple or blue border. It's actually like yellow with hot pink around it and then a bigger border of blue. That's crazy. I just thought that was pretty neat. Anyways, that's Chica. We love her. On to our final character. Now, I know you're looking at the screen and going, Mordecai, how come Golden Freddy isn't in this video? You said we're on the final character. He's literally the secret character in the game. He's so important. And to that I say, well, duh. I've been here for a while. I know that. But because he's got so much lore behind him, I don't really include him as part of the classic FNAF 1 animatronics. I do, but I don't. Because he's still Fredbear, just with a name and color palette change, I tend to draw him alongside Spring Bonnie in the puppet as kind of like this golden trio of the first animatronics made for all of the restaurants. And then I draw them in the like stages of how they've changed over the years, going from location to location and stuff like that. I'll have to do a video where I just talk about them, those three, all info dump about this stupid little AU that I have that's been brewing in my head for so long. Anyways, so to make up for the missing fifth character that people actually care about, I decided to give you a bonus in the form of the Cupcake. If you were there in the early days of the fandom, you may know him as Carl the Cupcake, but Morty's fun fact of the day, that wasn't the official name that was given to him at first. Like Golden Freddy and the Freddles, it started off as a fanon name that's got eventually adopted into the canon. The official name for him is Mr. Cupcake, but Carl is just as acceptable, so I switch between both. Carl is basically like Chica's son in my eyes, so I tried to make them look a little bit like her, mostly with the nose shape and the hair texture. In terms of the outfit, I just like putting characters in sweaters. Underneath, he's got a little suit vest to match the rest of the guys, but since he's just a little fella, he doesn't need to look all that professional. He's just a little guy. That's all that matters. Just a little fella. I made the candle into a little beanie, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this very self-indulgent video to some extent. Here's everybody all standing together. Look at them. Aren't they gorgeous? But let me know what you think of them. If you like them, if you didn't like them. If you didn't like them, don't tell me because I'll cry. I'm joking. If you want more FNAF content from me specifically, you can follow me here. If you want to just see normal art that isn't FNAF related, you can follow me over there. I like to separate my FNAF content from literally everything else because it just feels more organized. I have random bursts of being obsessed with FNAF more than I do any other fandom, and just keeping things separate kind of keeps me sane. You can also follow me on these other platforms. I've been considering deleting my Twitter account because screw Elon Musk, and Blue Sky is just a way better alternative for artists in general. I think the plan currently is to maybe try and make a video once a month. I'm not even really sure what all I want to do with the YouTube channel. I just thought it would be fun to make videos here and there to keep the creative juices flowing in some way. And if things take off from there, then why would I complain? Who am I to complain? I wouldn't. This was actually kind of fun to make. I've learned that I should write down a more coherent script that I can follow so that I'm not endlessly yapping and repeating myself so much. The amount of times that I had to cut random, or something like that out of the end of sentences is insane. But yeah, that's all I've got for you. I don't have any other videos on this channel yet, so I'll just link to a different one that I think is funny or something. I don't have an outro. Okay, bye.